everybody, welcome to On the Block, the show where we talk about Big Brother. We are back. I'm one of your hosts, Peter Slattery. This is your other host, Lewis Levy. And this week was pretty crazy. Big Brother was in full motion this week. A lot of crazy stuff happened. And I don't know, Lewis, do you have anything to say other than about my intro, or do you want to go right
I,
into it?
I I I have to comment on the intro, Peter. When you said it, bro, why did I think I was at like a raffle
I,
auction, like
I
one of
don't
those
even know.
old?
Just
No, keep it, no, keep it. I loved it. I
yeah,
thought
we'll,
that's
we'll
so
keep it going.
funny.
We'll keep it going. But yeah, here we
Hey,
go.
we're on the block. We're on the
Yeah,
block,
we
guys.
are on the
Like,
block, so we got to be a little bit
but yeah,
different.
let's
We're
talk
the
about this
unofficial
week.
podcast.
It's
But
actually
anyway,
been kind of
guys,
interesting.
we're here to start off as we usually do with the week recap. So,
Yes.
like a lot of people thought, including me, 5 minutes before this call, Lyric actually did not go home last week. It was
Oh,
Chuck. He was so uneventful as a player. Sorry, Chuck, that I didn't remember that he went home. I thought it was
yeah.
Lyric. Like I said, half of America did as well. But anyway, Chuck went home. We had the HOH competition, and Yash ended up pulling out the dub. It was the comp where they had to count as many objects and hit
The
the buzzer.
buzzer. Yeah.
Yash went up a lot, actually. Like they kind of like targeted him, but he
Yeah, I
was able
saw
to
that.
kind of
Yeah.
beat it all the way to the end. And who was it? It was Barrett and Yash in the end.
Heard and
And
Josh.
Barrett actually kind of like he didn't throw the competition, but he just guessed, which was kind of dumb.
Yes.
And it
I
gave
agree. I
Yash
don't know
the
why he did
HOH.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that sets us up with the Yash HOH, which is interesting. Like the last couple of weeks have been interesting HOHs because what was it? It was like
Lala the week
Lala. We had a
before.
Lala HOH. We had a Haley HOH.
I
Like
feel like it's like the people that you just don't expect to win end up winning. Like
yeah,
I feel like not a lot of people had like were betting on Yosh to win. Same with like Lala
exactly.
winning. That's like
Yeah,
been the theme of the season.
exactly. And so going into this week, Yash and Kamu were working very closely together. And Yash's plan was to target Angela, D, and Haley, just because Haley's easy because everyone wants to
Right.
keep putting her on the block. And Angela and D, finally, for the people like me who just are tired of the icons running the whole
Same.
thing, they
Same.
are finally get a chance to sweat. We see Angela break
Yep.
down. D
Yep.
goes full on panic mode.
Yeah.
However, things don't work out as much as we would like them because there's some sneaky voodoo stuff that happens. But
Well,
we'll get into that.
yeah.
Yeah, and then what happens then? Yash competes in veto. That episode has not aired yet. That is airing tonight, but this is going to be coming out on Thursday because I won't be here. I'll be in the States, but not here. But whatever.
You'll be
Yeah.
with
So
Lyric in Rome.
Yash wins it, and I believe he has decided not to use it. And right
Yeah.
before the veto meeting ends, Devin stands up and is like, actually, the veto meeting is not adjourned. And he uses his diamond power of veto to
Crazy.
completely turn over the game. He
Yeah.
takes D off, and because this thing is the most overpowered Mario Kart item in Big Brother history,
Literally.
he gets to nominate whoever he wants, and he
Yeah.
puts up my boy Kamu, which I'm very upset about. But anyway, I know, Lewis, I just blabbed so much about that. What do you have to say about that whole recap there?
I mean, yeah, I think there's a couple important things to note. I mean, in the beginning of the week when Yosh is saying like he's putting up Haley, Angela, and D, like I think what's really important to note is that I want to say D is the target for Yosh. Like she was the target. I think originally it was Haley just to please everybody, but then he's realizing the more he's talking to Common, the more he's talking to Haley, it's like, wait, she's probably a shield. She's probably someone that I can work with. And I think at this time, a lot of people in the house are feeling burned by D and Angela and Devon's like because they all, but more really D because of the vote of lying and then saying one thing and then doing another and all of that. So I think it's funny because like last week I was like, oh, D's in the best position. I think this week it was kind of a reality check of like, damn, like she needs to recheck a lot of her allegiances and alliances. A lot of people are questioning her motives. And yeah, I mean, I think with Devon's using the diamond power review, I mean, Peter, like, what do you think on that? Like, do you think that was a good move? Like, what would you have
So
done?
at the time, I think for Dev, it depends how you look at it. Because for the
Yeah,
Icons game, I would say it is a good move. But for Devon's individually, I would say it was a bad move. Because number
yeah,
one, people are already like, okay, I'm like, guys, wake up. There's three Icons in the house. They're obviously working together. Come on. But I
yeah,
feel like Devon's playing it on D shows that number one, they're tight. Number two, this is kind of what Melody says in the live feeds, but we'll get into that later.
yeah,
She says that that Devon's doesn't need to do anything the rest of the game. He's already done two big moves, getting out Rome and doing this. And number
yeah.
three, he's playing his cards way too early. Like I feel like he's playing a good duo game with D and Devon's, but I think this is detrimental to his game moving forward because he's just going to be a big target and like get out next week. Like what was the
Yeah.
kind
I
of
mean,
my
I
take
also,
on it.
yeah, like, I don't know. I think I agree with you. Where like, I think for the icons, like, yes, I do think it's a good move, but I do have to agree with you on the fact, like, I don't know if it was the best personal game moves
Mhm.
for Devin. But then again, here's the thing. Like, I think it's funny. We're like, I saw Haley say like, "Oh, I didn't realize how close Devins and D are." Like, Yosh, the same thing. It's like you're telling me there's two people from Survivor and you do not think that they're number ones. It's like I don't think it takes, as Mallory would be, a rocket scientist. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out Devins and D are working together and that they're working with Angela. Like, I think that's the most obvious thing like ever. Like, that's just like out there. And if people aren't seeing that, what are you doing? You're on
Yeah,
Big Brother.
yeah,
Like,
exactly. And I
it
mean,
makes no
this is
sense,
this
you
is the
know?
thing when we get into the live feeds this week because a
Yeah,
lot of stuff happened on the live
a
feeds
lot of stuff.
because technically not just one power was used or attempted to be used. Dee's BB bribe, where she
He's
offers someone
Brian. Yeah,
$5,000, was tempted to be used, and she tried to use it on Yash to not nominate her so they
yeah.
could save the Diamond Power veto. However, Yash, I honestly would have taken the money. And I know Taylor said the
Really?
same thing. Taylor said take the money. Because I mean, think about it. What are the odds that I'm winning 750,000?
It's
Probably not.
true.
And in my perspective, it was still early enough in the game where there's chances to get out D
I
later.
agree.
Like it would like if
Yeah,
this was final six, I think that would have been a much harder
right.
sell. But because what this is final 10, 11, I think it would have been justified
Yeah.
to take the
I
money.
mean,
Maybe it's a bad take,
I
but
think him also not taking the bribe, I think that said in Dee's head, she's the target.
yeah.
Because if she was really a pawn, he would have taken it and put a Barrett or somebody like that. And I also think it's interesting, like in the beginning of the week, like we see Yash also say that like he doesn't want any guys to go home this week. And I think that's a flaw in his game only because like Barrett should have been up there, really. Like if he really was like if you wanted a pawn up there, that's I think he's not close with him. That's someone that should have gone up on an HOH of his, and like he didn't have to burn a bridge. I guess because D thought that like D was so convinced that she was fine when Yosh won. But like as we said earlier, like the icons need to sweat. I'm glad that they're sweating. Finally, it's about time. And now Devins is the only person that's never been nominated, which is
Yeah.
another reason why I don't know how good of a position he's going to be in the following weeks. But
Yeah,
yeah,
and going back on that whole Devins thing, I think this also is extra bad for him playing this because anybody can kind of, or Yash specifically can read this and be like, okay, their plan A was to use the BB bribe.
correct.
Since I denied it, they did the Diamond Power veto. That
Yes,
shows that they're working together, like
obviously.
even more so. So
Right,
that's kind of the problem we have with that. And then what ended up happening was the house kind of totally flips because Kamu, Haley, and Taylor think that they have what is it? They think that they have Mallory and Melody.
right.
However, later in the week we see that Angela D, oh my gosh, Angela D, Drew Barrett, Devins, Mallory, and Melody kind of
Crossovers with
yeah.
Mallory Melody.
What is
Yeah,
it called? Is I think it begins with like a
the
T.
mosh pit.
The mosh pit. Yeah, I thought it was like the
Yeah.
takeovers, but yeah, the mosh pit. However, I'm sitting here kind of thinking and this is like what I was saying. Melody agrees, or I guess we agree. I agree with Melody because this is what she was saying. Devins is obviously using this seven just to get as far along in the game as
Oh,
possible. Like he's
100%.
using them
Yeah.
as shields. Like if anything, I feel like that they should realign themselves with Kamu, Haley, and Taylor to take out the icons. Because, like I said, in my perspective, Kamu can go out any week. He's always going to be a big target.
Right.
If he doesn't perfectly play his game and manipulate the relationships or win a bunch of competitions, he's done, which is going to be very hard to do.
But here's what I'll say.
That's
But
kind of
I
my
don't know
perspective.
though. Here's what I'll say about Kamu. I disagree. I don't think he can get out every week. I really don't. And I only say that because he's really good at competitions. And I mean really good, like Keanu level good of like he's won the memory comps. He almost won the wall. He's very physical. He's probably the most physically fit person there. And he's done exceedingly well on the mental competitions. Like that's like a really big threat. So it's like it's interesting because like I agree with you. It's yeah, like team up with Kamu, take out the icons. Who's going to win the competitions? Angela hasn't won anything. Dee has not really won. She won an HOH out of two other people. And Devins is probably the only real competitor on the icon side. So it's like, it's so weird where it's like, I don't know. It's like, do you, like, that's where I think you need to find the balance in Big Brother because it's like, do you work with Kamu? But also, I think the house is realizing my issue with Kamu's game is like, whenever someone wins an HOH, he's best friends with them. And everyone is seeing that too. So it's like they
Mhm.
don't know how authentic and how truthful he's being. Like, and I also think it's last week we saw Kamu didn't use the veto on his two closest allies that he wanted to be good with. And like, if I'm Mallory and Melody, I'm like, do I go with someone that didn't even use the veto on his like own two closest allies? Or do I, and someone that can win competitions and has like shown to win competitions and has like been good socially? Like, that's a shot, that's a game move. Or
Yeah.
do you stick with like I think that's what like we're both like I guess getting to like the consensus of like Mallory and Melody are kind of going into that position of they direct the rest of the game, I think. I really
Yeah.
do.
No, they are the
Yeah.
stalwarts. And that they're kind of like in our position right now where I'm
Yeah.
kind of siding with Melody, you're kind of siding with Mallory, where it's like I
100%.
agree. Melody really, I think, wants to save Kamu,
I
but
think she does.
Mallory doesn't. Mallory is
Right.
very adamant against it, thinking it's a bad idea. So this will definitely change the end of the game because,
100%.
like, even though D, I don't think she hasn't won anything since the first HOA. She still is a physical threat, and this could pose a problem later
Is
in
she
the game,
though?
I think. Yeah, I
I
mean,
don't know.
I mean,
She's
she
gotten
showed.
last place in like almost like I saw a statistic. Someone was like, I think D update said like she's literally been like 6 out of 6 for like 3 comps and like 12 out of 13 for like an HO. I don't know. Like
She could be throwing it, and you never know. She might try to
you're right. It's
sneak it
D.
up in the end. But this is really the interesting part about Big Brother
Yeah,
because you're completely right. The players in the middle are going to control the pace of this game, and I can kind of see, like I said, I think, in my opinion, I think it's still harder for Kamu to work his way to the end compared to someone like D. I feel like for
you're
some
right.
reason, I feel
Yeah,
like has an easier time of wiggling herself all the way through the alliances. She might not win, and Kamu might not win, but I'm
right.
just saying comparing those
No,
two
I agree.
individually, what we do. And I mean, honestly, for the live feeds, I'm trying to think if there was anything. Do
Well,
you
I
remember
also think
anything
it's
else?
important to mention too, like I think the reason why the icons are like they have so much like weight to them is because of Barrett and Drew. I think if Barrett and Drew were not as loyal to them and like they haven't shown, at least from what I've seen, any signs that they're going to flip on the icons, that's why it's like, oh damn, like 100% go to Kamu, go to Kamu. But like I have this weird inkling feeling for some reason I could see Drew and Barrett maybe flipping later with Mallory and Melody. Like I do maybe see that in the future. I think they know that like why would they keep 3 icons safe when it's like you have 2 other people that you build connections with also? So it's like that's also an interesting. It's I don't know. The game's kind of freeing up.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, I was very skeptical that all three icons would be making their way to like the final. Like I didn't think it would be a final three of icons. There's just no way in a season like this. But
Yeah,
you're right, Drew and Barrett are also kind of the keys here. It's
they
like
are.
if they decide to turn, this is it. I mean, you have people like Lala who said we need to get 2 icons out before
Right.
jury. And you would think on the face of it, if you look at the numbers, it's like yeah, it makes logical sense. Why not the seven or however many of us just team up on the three, get at
Right.
least one of them out, and
Right.
pick which one we like the most,
Right.
and keep them, and get rid of everyone else. So yeah, I'm trying to think if there was anything else. I would think there was kind of like a version of the Tea Party, but something happened with Kamu, but I wasn't watching at that point, so I'm not sure if anything like that
Yeah.
happened. Did you hear of
Well,
anything like that?
no, I didn't hear anything of that, but I think just to go back a little bit, I'm just trying to think of
Yeah.
like the live feeds. I'm thinking back with like a Melody and Mallory conversation because I think they are like yeah key players this week and they're going to be key players in the next week.
Hmm.
I think Mallory like a big reason why she doesn't want to keep Kamu is like she was put on the block by him and
Yeah.
like I think that still has stung with her and she's really adamant of like being like no he still needs to go he still needs to go and like I even think in the event if Kamu does end up going it's like. I don't know. I still think it's unpredictable. I really do. Like I can still see like if Taylor wins an HOH, like yeah, the icons might go up. Drew and
Mhm.
Barrett might go up. Like I even think getting out Drew and Barrett, like that's still think a benefit of like helping like getting dwindling down the icon. Like I feel like the icons are here. They have like armor with Drew and Barrett. They have
Yeah.
like another like people with like Mallory and like they're not as secure. Like they both have admitted to each other. Like they don't even feel that great with the mosh pit. Like
Hmm.
so I don't even think they're gonna ride with it that much. They're good with Drew and Barrett, but like, and also I want to. Oh, this was also important in live feeds. I saw this I think yesterday, but Melody is finally waking up and being like, yeah, like wait, guys, I don't know if I can trust Drew.
Hmm.
Like finally, but like yeah, she's saying that she saw that he was selling stuff to Dee, but not selling stuff to her and like lying to her, and she's finally figuring that out. And Mallory has been saying the same, like yeah, like I don't know if we can trust Dee. So like I'm curious. Like I don't know what they're gonna do with that information. I don't know if they're the type of players that are going to flip on their closest allies, Drew and Barrett, but Drew and Barrett are not Mallory priority. So yeah,
Yeah, it's honestly, it kind of is like overall like a mosh pit right now.
it is. Yeah,
It's very back and forth. I mean, even at this moment, I'm sure if we looked like Melody and Mallory, it's really going to come down to them
it
who can
really is.
convince the other what is better. And to be honest with you, I have a strong feeling that Melody is just going to go with Mallory. She like
I agree.
I feel like Mallory's more like outspoken enough to
I
be like
think she
Melody,
is.
no, like that's a bad idea. We need to get him out.
Because we
But
saw what would happen with Jason. Melody at first was like, "We got to keep Jason. We got to keep Jason." And then she saw like Drew was like, "I don't want to keep him." And she was like, "Ugh, "I guess that's a bad idea." She's not the type of player that's gonna like go with the plan, gun for something. Like that's just not Melody's game.
exactly.
But
And like
Mallory is like
yeah.
she's sticking to her guns.
And it's like I said, it's all going to come down to like what happens, and that's kind of a good segue into let's talk about the predictions. So
Yeah,
currently on the block we have Haley, which is so funny that she honestly, or I guess Angela and Haley are kind of like the we not under the radar kind of people on the block, which is ironic because Haley
yeah,
was like the biggest target
right.
last
No, I know,
literally
but
last
like,
week, one of
yeah,
the bigger
very
targets. So it's Haley, it's Angela, and it's now
Kamu.
Camu. So
Yeah,
depending on what the blockbuster is, do you have any? Did they say what the blockbuster is yet?
no,
Okay,
no.
yeah, I'm not sure either. So for the blockbuster, yeah, it's going to really depend. So I guess let's. How about you say yours first? So what are your predictions? Depending on who wins the blockbuster, who do you think's staying? Who do you think's going?
Yeah, I mean, I think just my prediction overall, I think Angel is the safest player out of the three, unless something crazy changes tonight. I don't think it will, but I think if she's up against Haley, she stays. I think she's up against Kamu, she stays. I think if Kamu is on the block, he goes home. And I think Haley only goes home in the event if she's up against with Angela. That's my prediction.
Yeah, it's so close and it's so tight now.
I
Even
know.
even with the blockbusters, because you can make arguable cases for any situation. Because like if
Yeah,
Common wins blockbuster and it's Haley Angela, do you get the person who like not a lot of people like in the house and is a very big target out, Haley, or do you take a free shot at the icons? Like, yeah, Angela's not going to do much damage
right.
long term in the game, but that is a number that
That is.
that is a number that they
Yeah,
don't have. So why not just free pickings take her
right.
off? Or vote her out. Then if Angela wins Blockbuster, Haley Kamu, that yeah, I kind of think Kamu would
I
most
think
likely
Kamu
go.
goes.
Just because he's just posed as so much of a challenge threat. And then again, you can kind of weigh it if Haley somehow wins Blockbuster, you're gonna have Kamu and Angela. And again, there's a case that they could just go after,
There
not
is a
if they're
case, yeah.
icon hungry, to just go after someone on the icons. But it kind of looks like the writing's on the wall for Kamu, but like I said, I'm still holding out hope that Melody realizes, yes, Devons and D are obviously just using them all as shields and are just going to completely like just turn on them whenever they have a
Yeah,
chance to switch the numbers again. Because think
yeah.
about it, they went from what the red corner to the tool shed to the whatever the people who formed an alliance to get out Chuck. I forget what it was, but if that
I
exists,
don't know.
I don't know what I mean, but I'm just saying like the icons have kind of just
Right.
been in the middle, kind of
They
maneuvering
have
themselves
been, yeah. It's
around.
impressive as heck. Like it's
Yeah.
crazy that they've
So
just
they are playing, although I feel like a valid criticism is that they are kind of hiding behind their advantages to an extent.
oh,
Like they
100%.
just have
Yeah.
such an over. I mean, like I said, when you have two people on the same team who have a diamond power veto and a
Yeah.
bribe, and keep in mind, we didn't say this, the bribe hasn't expired. Apparently, the bribe only expires when it gets accepted, and the bribe can last till the end of the game, from what I'm
Literally.
aware. So literally, we could be in a situation where, let's say it's Lala, Devons, and D, final three, right? And Lala wins the last HOH.
Bruh.
D can say, listen, you're not going to win anyway.
Yeah.
Here's $5,000. Take me to the end, and she gets a free win. That
Oh
could
my
potentially
God.
happen if she
That'd
saves
be
it.
insane, bro.
So that's kind of the
Yeah.
predictions. Like I said, very very muddy. But I guess like I said, to finalize in in my gut, I don't want to say Kamu's leaving, even if there's a blockbuster. But between the two situations, I think Kamu has a better chance of surviving, maybe with Haley up. What do you think? Like Haley
I
versus
think he has
Kamu,
a
Angela
better
just
chance of surviving against Haley. I agree. Because I just think
yeah.
Haley's less like, and I think Angela's the perfect icon to be on the block
Hmm.
because like I think if D or Devons were on the block, I actually could see people maybe being like, let's take the shot. But it's
Yeah.
like I don't think people are gonna be like, yeah, Angela, she's like 53. We're not gonna like get her out. Like, what's the point? It's like
Yeah.
almost like a Lala. Like, why would you take a shot at Lala? Like, it just doesn't make sense, you
Yeah, like
know?
it's almost kind of like a sub pawn, like it's a pawn in the group of
Right.
alliances where it's like a pawnception, pawn of a pawn. So it's like
Yeah.
in my ideal
Um,
world, I would want Angela to go home, to be honest with you, just for
really, yeah.
the house and because think about it, what has Angela really done except like go around and like cry and cause like just
Yeah, that's
not
fair.
game drama? Like Haley and Kamu would change the game a lot. Angela, I feel like is kind of riding with the wave, in my opinion. But yeah, that's
Yeah.
kind of my take on. It. Did you have anything else for the predictions?
I mean, not real. I mean, I guess we can talk like predictions like winner, maybe. Like if we have like
I mean, yeah, because
a
what are we
sweep,
at final 10 or final 11?
final 11. Yeah. I mean,
What's your final five?
ooh, final five. I think Melody. I think she's like a lock-in for the final five. I just don't see anyone want to take her out. I think Angela. I don't think people are gonna want Angela out either. Like I think she's in a good spot. I could see I can see Drew up there, and I could see maybe D, and then I could also see like maybe Barrett. I don't know. I know that's
Yeah.
like I don't like that final four. I don't know.
Yeah, it's
Maybe
still a
Taylor
little
if she gets it, but I really don't think. I think
it's still a little early. And yeah, I agree
yeah,
with Taylor. I do think she's playing one of the better strategic games. She
I
just
think she
right
is
now
too.
doesn't have the numbers, which
She
who knows,
doesn't.
maybe in the next two
Very
days
smart.
she could try to sway Mallory and be like, hey, listen, Devin, I know you don't like Camus, but Devins is just gonna jump around and turn around and
Right.
get and yeah, for top final five for me, I have a feeling unless Barrett, whatever he did
Oh my
last, that
God,
was so
bro.
cringy.
Oh,
Barrett, unless he gets kind of like caught in what he's doing, he's
right.
probably going to make final
I
five.
could see that too.
I
Yeah.
I definitely see D. I think D has a chance if like especially after this week if this week goes well. To be honest with you, if Camus survives this week, I think he has a chance at final five.
I agree with
I
that.
think I would
I
flip
agree.
Camus and Angela. So like whoever like
Both
out of
Angela, I
those,
see whoever goes.
yeah,
That's
whoever goes, I'd say
I
that's that
agree with
spot.
that. I agree.
Um Drew, maybe barely. Like he might survive that like it might be like Drew and Devons or something and
Right.
like, whatever they go out. And then in the last spot, oh, you forgot you forgot to mention Yash, I think.
Bro, oh
Um,
yeah, him. I could
Yash
see
is probably
that.
final five. So
Yeah,
yes,
yeah. That's I was like,
it's
I'm like, there's another guy, but like I
yeah.
just can't roll in the name.
Drew, Yash, Angela slash Camu, D, and who did I say? Barrett. That's
Barrett.
probably going to be the final five,
That's fair.
and it's going to be battle out from there. But yeah, in terms of predict, and then out of who wins, I got no
What
clue.
about like a dark horse, like still like this week? Any dark horse?
Okay.
And also any player of the week. Let's do that. Dark horse and
Okay.
player of the week.
Okay, so Dark Horse. You know, let me start with player of the week, maybe. Um, I guess it's going to depend what she does, but Melody, if she can convince,
Interesting. Okay.
because the week isn't over yet, you know, it's not
Right.
Thursday, so we don't know. If Melody can convince them to save Camus, I think she would be the player. I refuse to acknowledge that Devins is the player or D is the player of the week just because it's like all they did was use a power up.
Right. Yeah.
And yeah, like come on. Like so
Oh, I
that's
know.
that. Dark horse. Again, I would love to say Taylor. However,
I
just
know.
because she doesn't have the numbers, I think I might have to go Yash, honestly.
Oh,
I feel like
interesting.
he's likable enough where even though he's on the wrong side of the numbers, he could like kind of switch over and
Yeah.
work with the icons. Like they can grab him for a while. Because think about it, the icons are going to want to get out the challenge threats.
Right.
They're going to probably turn this around next week and get out Mallory and then get out whoever's left that is a challenge threat that's not an icon. That's probably what I'm saying. Dark Horse Yash, and favorite was Melody, depending on what she does.
Okay.
Mhm.
I'll say
But
my player of the week. Oh,
you can disagree with me. I don't care.
no, like I don't want to say an icon. I'm not going to say Devins, but I think I'm going to say D only because there was a point where Devins was like, "Listen, like, do you think you feel safe enough to not use the veto?" And I think D's smart in the sense she knows it's not best. This is what she did on Survivor. She knows it's not best for his game, but it's best for her game for her to be safe. I think her just being like, listen, like just using a little bit like I'll throw like the blockbuster, all that, like that's just so D. And I also feel like yeah, like she was able to like put herself, I think like again, like she like had conflict with people and it's like I saw a conversation with like comment, like she was able to have conflict resolution and like she's like I saw there was a point where like even before the veto was used, she was able to get Melody to be like, yeah, I need D to say this week over Angela. Like I think that's just really impressive and like that I'm still just like, damn, yeah, I can't believe people would even think not to get D out, but we're in that world. And I
Yeah,
think Dark Horse, I'm for the first time I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna say Angela. And I'm only saying that because I feel like now that I think about it, I'm like, I think she might be the most like protected icon. And like I think if people are gonna want to take a shot, like let's say they put all three icons on the block, I think there's a strong chance that Angela stays out of those other
yeah,
two. And I think, let's say when the first icon goes, unfortunately, I think it's going to be Devon's, but I think that's true. Angela's going to be in such a good spot where people are going to be like, okay, listen, now it's only two icons. It's just D and Angela. Like, what? Like, they're just not even going to look at Angela. And I think Angela's playing a very underrated game. I think she's a lot more strategic than people are
mhm,
giving her credit for. And I see her working on a relationship with Drew, which I think is good. And I see her still working on a relationship with Mallory. So, and it's just such a different Angela from season 26, where like we don't have the drama, we don't have like as much chaos, but we have someone that's now like more like in tune with herself and like instead of spiraling outwardly, she's spiraling inwardly, which is growth. And I think that's what Big Brother's all about, is growing from your game, and I think that's what she's doing. So I'm gonna say she's a dark horse. I could see her taking it. I really could. If she
I
gets second, I think she's convincing enough.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, to like I said, to your credit and to her credit, I mean, she out of the people in the house, I would argue there's objectively no reason to get her out, at
I
least in the
really
next
don't.
couple of
Yeah,
rounds. And that
I agree.
person sometimes can just wiggle their way to the end. The person
Yeah,
who, like, why
the one
would we
who
get
gets
her
out.
out? You know,
Right.
kind of like I don't know, like almost like Ashley, right? Last season, like
Yeah.
there was
Yeah.
no reason to get
I
Ashley
agree.
out besides Showergate, the first
Right.
week, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and she ended up winning. She took it at the very end
Yeah. So
against
we
two
never
of the
know.
most powerful players in the house who had like the most
Yeah.
powerful wins like ever. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So honestly, guys, unless you have anything else, Lewis, I think that's pretty much it for
No,
this
I think
week.
that's pretty good. Yeah.
Very eventful week. If you've been watching the feeds, not only is Big Brother back, like it's going like full force right now. Strategies being talked a
Finally.
bunch,
Yeah. It's
and
like
as it
Chuck
like I
going
said,
home.
as it stands right now, this is what Wednesday. This is a Wednesday. This is going to come out tomorrow. We don't know what's going to happen. Somehow, things could flip. Angela could go home. Kama could go home. Haley
Anything
could
could
go
happen.
home. I almost would argue that the blockbuster is borderline irrelevant because there's still so much up in the air. If Kamu wins, like like yeah, if Kamu doesn't win, he has an uphill battle. But like if he does win, it really could I could see it going either way for Angela or Haley potentially. So,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, guys, I think that was on the block. The show where we talk about Big Brother. I'm Peter Slatter, one of your hosts. That's Louis Levy, your
So
other host. So, anyways, guys, that's it. Thank you for
gotcha.
watching, and we will see you next time.